Compatibility. We're going to talk about the compatibility issues when it comes to working with Excel. Excel 07 and 10 have a different file format than 03. That's one issue when you're trying to work with files that come from one version in another version. And secondly, there is, of course, enhanced functionality with each subsequent version of Excel. So we have two directions that we're working within. Backwards compatibility, when we're working with a 2010 file in a 07 or 03 environment. And to help identify functionality that doesn't exist in those prior versions, there's a compatibility checker. And then we have forward compatibility, working with a file that came from 03 or 07 in an 010 environment. We'll talk about some of the forward compatibility issues. And finally, we'll talk about the compatibility pack, which is sort of an add-on to 03 that allows you within that environment to deal with files from 07 and 10 since they're in a completely different file format by default. As was mentioned in the prior movie, the file format for 07 and 10 is fundamentally different than what was used in 03. It's OpenXML as opposed to the binary format in 03. This creates some issues when you're trying to share files with other people that may not have 2010, and maybe they still have 03. Excel offers a couple of tools to get you some information about the compatibility issues that you may have. I currently have a workbook that I utilized some 2010 functionality within so that I can show you these compatibility tools. There's something called a compatibility checker that you can kick off in one of two ways. The first way I'm going to show you is sort of the direct way. I'm going to press Alt F to get backstage. I'll left click check for issues and left click check compatibility. I get what's called a compatibility report, and I have an issue. I have a significant loss of functionality. The other error message you may see is a minor loss of fidelity, so this is more significant than that. And the error message goes on to tell me that one or more cells in the workbook contain a spark line. Now, for this purpose, don't worry about what a spark line is. It's functionality that's available in 2010 and was not in 2003. That's why we're getting this error. Spark lines will not be saved, and it tells me the location. I also have the option here to left-click Copy to New Sheet, and Excel inserts a compatibility report, which enables me to retain this compatibility information. It also enables me to quickly go to the geographical location in the spreadsheet where this compatibility issue resides. I have a hyperlink here. I will left click on it and I am taken to the problem. It's a spark line. Again, don't worry about what this is. We'll cover this in a subsequent movie, but this is creating the compatibility problem. Now, I mentioned that there was more than one way to get the compatibility report to run. Then there is. So I'm going to press Alt-F-A to get the Save As dialog box. I'm going to click the down arrow, left click the down arrow, and choose Excel 97-2003 Workbook Format. Click Save, and I get the same compatibility checker report once again. So you can directly check for compatibility issues or have Excel check for the compatibility issues by default when you go to save your 2010 workbook in the 2003 format. So I'm going to left click Continue to save my workbook, and then I'm going to close the workbook, and then I'm going to go back into Alt-F-R for Recent and open up the workbook I just saved, Book 1. The title bar now shows me Book 1 Compatibility Mode. So what did we just do? We saved an OpenXML format in 2010 into the binary format that's compatible with 2003, and then opened it back up, and 2010 automatically goes into compatibility mode. When we're in compatibility mode, Excel will only display for you options that are compatible with 2003. In other words, that sparkline functionality will be grayed out. So I won't even be able to utilize functionality that's inconsistent with the 2003 version of Excel. I can, of course, save this file back in the OpenXML format, Alt-F-A, the Save As dialog box. Left-click the drop-down, choose Excel Workbook. I'm going to rename it open XML so we can find it easier. Save. Alt-FR. Open the open XML file, and I am now no longer in compatibility mode. And the sparkline functionality is now active. If you're working within Excel 2003, there is a free downloadable compatibility pack that Microsoft offers that enables you to save files in the 2007-2010 format, the OpenXML format, to enhance the forward compatibility. That tool will also allow you to convert the files in Windows Explorer from the old format to the new format. So we talked about backward compatibility that enables you to send somebody that's still in the 2003 version of Excel a file that was created in 2007 or 2010. We looked at the compatibility checker where it is kicked off automatically if you're saving in that older file format, or where you can actually kick it off yourself manually and get the same information. You can retain that information within the spreadsheet. It'll hyperlink you to the location of the problem. And we talked about the compatibility pack, which enhances the forward compatibility of Excel.